If you're not inside the team, that's absolutely fine. So today is not really to do with anything. Well, it is to do with inside the coaching, but it doesn't really matter if you are in the coaching or not. It's something that you can put in place yourself, something you can take away, I'm hoping, something you can kind of build into your routine, into your lifestyle around teaching. So today's masterclass, what I really wanted to do was give you an explicit tool to take away from the training that you can go ahead and start to put in place as you go into next half term, as you go back into school. I know everyone's half terms are slightly different, but I think for majority of people, if you are based in the UK anyway, we have half term next week, and then we are kind of rolling into spring two. I always think spring one and spring two feel a little bit lighter and nicer than autumn two, but I think the problem with spring one is we often start it off absolutely running because we're like new year, new me, I'm ready to get back control, and it sometimes doesn't end up like that. And that's kind of what I want this masterclass to be about today. It's how can you actually make sure over the next 6 weeks as you go into spring two, in that half term, you're going to be consistent week in, week out, you're going to show up week in, week out, and actually stick to the things that you've said, rather than feeling like week one and week two are amazing and really successful, then week four hits, you've got parents' evening, and you feel like you're dragging yourself to the finish line a little bit. I know exactly how it is. So that's what we're going to dive into today and cover. So just like I said, we're going to be going over the six methods. So today you're going to come away with six methods that you can integrate into your routine, your lifestyle, your teaching sort of schedule to make sure that you've got that time for you in and outside the classroom. Like I said just then, these are tools that you can use to build that consistency. So to try and show up week in, week out, and the ladies will know who work with me. We don't do quick fixes, we don't do shreds inside the Teach Fitness Academy. I just don't feel like it's appropriate in teaching. I don't feel like it's appropriate. It's just hard and you end up going backwards. So this is all tools to build in so you can see long-term results and you can see that longevity in your training as well. Um, I want to go over how you can stay on track week in, week out, no matter what's going on, sort of throughout the half term, whether it's parents' evenings, you've got assessments. I know some weeks are heavier than others. I want this plan to feel like something that you can fit in and work around teaching. I think there's lots of plans out there and programs out there, but it's got to be something that works around the job. Whether we like it or not, teaching is a little bit of a lifestyle. Your holidays are built around your teaching schedule. You know, when things are intense, we know that you have to ease it into your personal life a little bit. I know how it is. And that's what I want this plan to feel like, something you can really build in and something you can be successful around teaching as well, because there is, and you can build that time in for you. It's not easy every single week, as the girls will know inside the academy, but it's doable. Stopping that all or nothing mindset is a big one from this training. I want you to take away as well, is really learning that consistency is key. And even if one week is not perfect, there are ways forward and you can move forward with it. So this is kind of what I want you to get from the call, basically, going over each area. So a little bit about me and who I am. So if you guys are in my coaching, you probably know me quite well by this point, but if you are not, then that's absolutely fine. Sorry, I do speak quite quickly. I will try and slow down a little bit. So this is who I am. So I was a teacher for 6 years. I was a teacher in year five and six for most of my career. I did 3 years in five and 3 years in year six. Absolutely loved teaching. I loved being around the children. I felt like it's such a rewarding, I think it's an amazing career. And I never want, I think teachers are amazing people. But I did feel like when I was teaching, there was something that needed to change because there's so many people around me that was really struggling with their health and fitness, their well-being, myself included. And I recognised that there was a little bit of a gap or a bridge that needed to be crossed between teachers learning how to prioritise themselves. And I guess that's where the Teach Fitness Academy came from. So this was developed and built in August 2024. So I've been running it for around 18 months now. And it's great because we've really managed to get to a point where there's a big community and it's lovely to have all the ladies on board, some of which are on the call today, which is so nice to see. So the Teach Fitness Academy, what is it? It's just coaching basically. But I only work with teachers. It's designed for teachers. So it's there to help you navigate the ebbs and flows of half term, really prioritize yourself and learn those tools that actually work for you as a teacher that you can take around the classroom and learn to prioritize yourself sort of so you're not just sucked up by the job completely, because I don't believe anyone can be the best version of themselves if their life is just teaching, or they can't be the best teacher if their life is just teaching, teaching, teaching. You do need to have that time for you. So today, I guess you're getting a bit of a snippet into the Teach Fitness Academy and what that looks like. We're going to be going over one of the methods. We use lots of different methods, lots of different trainings, lots of different styles within the Teach Fitness Academy. And this is just one of the new ones that I'm introducing and something that I really want to build in for the girls inside the academy for next half term, but for you guys as well. So you can take this away, do it independently if you wish, and try and start to build some bits in. That can hopefully work and you can see some results from it. So, results that we can kind of expect, I guess, if we do manage to build these things in. And I just want to showcase some of the ladies that have done a fantastic job recently. So this is Becca. We've been working together since June. She's been doing absolutely amazing, incredible with her journey. And I think what I want you to take from this is it's not those quick fixes that we're after. She's lost 9 kg in total. It's not been an overnight fix. We've been working together, like I said, since the summer last year. It's been gradual changes, but she's had a complete mindset shift with her health and fitness. She's just done amazing. She loves the gym. She loves training. She goes a lot for her mental health more than anything now, but she's still seeing incredible results. We've got Alana as well, who's 7.1 kg down. We've been working together since the end of August, September time. Again, she's doing an absolutely incredible job finding that time for her, building in routine. And I guess I want these results to show you that it is absolutely possible to do it. Loads of the ladies inside the program are doing it. They're doing a fantastic job, and it's just about building what works for you around your routine, your career, and making sure that it's feasible, I guess, which is what we're going to look at today. So, what are the 6 methods that we can use to stay consistent and build that consistency around teaching, making sure that we can prioritize ourselves and we have time for us in and outside the classroom, basically. So, we're going to be going over the 6 method. So, the 6 method is broken down into 6 main stages, and I've built it into a little bit of an acronym because we all love an acronym. And I want you guys to really see that we can break this down and hopefully take away from this something that you can remember, and something that I guess you can have in the top of your head, like, oh, this spells method, what was each of the sections? Something that you can kind of build in throughout the half term. Like I said, all of these that we're going to be looking at today are to build in these. So consistency, realistic results, those long-term changes, sustainability, and something that you can hopefully learn from and really understand how to apply yourself as time goes on, as the half term goes on, and something you can kind of build in as the academic year goes on as well. So the first section of the 6 method is looking at the M, which is minimum standards. So what I want you guys to think about after this call is, and I guess maybe use the half term for this as well, is a little bit of a reflection. You will have weeks in teaching where it is just incredibly intense. Maybe you're feeling a bit run down yourself. Maybe it's assessment week, you've got parents' evening, you've got a school trip, you've got a residential, and it is just not possible for you to give your 100% for your health and fitness. Your health and fitness can't be your priority that week, and that's absolutely normal and that's absolutely okay. What I would like you to do this next week as you go into half term 2 for this sort of year is think about what your minimum standard could be. So what is one thing that you could do even on those weeks where it does just feel absolutely chaotic? Inside the Teach Fitness Academy, we've been doing something similar to this, which is a bit like the traffic light system. So we have like red weeks, green weeks, we have amber weeks where we kind of juggle things around. This is very similar. So it's just thinking about what you can build in as your minimum to allow you to still make sure you're feeling successful on those weeks where things are absolutely chaotic. I always say to people, the first thing you need to prioritize on those weeks where it is chaotic is your nutrition. Always prioritize your food. That should help you save time, if anything. But that will allow you to still work towards your goals. The next thing you can do is start to think about what these minimum standards could be for yourself. So our minimum standards sort of steps for you at a much lower amount. So maybe you want to be hitting 8k steps per day, but on these weeks when things are chaotic and crazy, maybe you're going to aim for just a 10-minute walk after work to get yourself out of the house and have a bit of breathing time. Or maybe you're going to aim for 5k steps instead. Maybe you're going to say, well, actually, I can't do my workouts this week. So instead of doing my workouts, I'm just going to go home and I'm going to do like 20 squats just because I want to move my body and feel good. And I know these things sound a little bit ridiculous because you're probably thinking in the moment, like, what on earth is 20 squats going to do for me? But I think sometimes it's showing up and showing yourself that you can be consistent even when things are hard. And I think that's what I want you to get from this training today. If anything, it's about protecting that consistency at all costs, really allowing yourself to show up week in, week out, And giving yourself a little bit of grace, yes, because we're doing that with the flexibility here, but allowing yourself to do something towards your goals. So over half term, have a think. What are your minimum standards going to be? What are your minimum standards going to be in terms of steps, in terms of, your nutrition? What are you not going to let slip this next half term? And it needs to be something that's realistic on the weeks where you know it's going to be hell, because we know there are going to be weeks where it's a bit chaotic and crazy. So your minimum standards needs to be put in place. The next half term that I want you to have a little think about is your environment design. So this is all about what can you do in your environment, at home, at work, whatever that might look like, to just make the fitness feel a little bit easier. And this is often where I see the most incredible results from ladies inside the program, because they just say things to me like, oh yeah, well on a Sunday, I'm just in a routine now of making sure I've got breakfast prep from Monday to Wednesday, or on a Wednesday night, I sit down and me and my partner plan out the meals for the week. It's little things like that that really help you to just make sure that you're as consistent as possible. So some ideas that you might do to just make sure that your environment really aids you training, because there are going to be those days when you get home from work and you really do not want to go to the gym, or you really do not want to go and cook a healthy meal. You'd rather just order something from Uber Eats. I get it. But what are the things that we can put in place to make this new lifestyle for you as easy as possible? Because the easier it is, the more likely you are to do it. Things like laying your clothes out the night before, getting them ready, there's somewhere that's visible, even taking your gym bag to work so you can go straight from work. Prep your pre-workout snack. So maybe having a little ritual where when you finish work, you have a little snack on the way to the gym. It just gives you that motivation to go sometimes. If you work out from home, keeping your equipment out and ready so you can come home, get straight on with it, jump straight in. You're not wasting any time, you're kind of getting it done. Scheduling those workouts like meetings. This is one that's really hit home with me this week because I didn't realize how much I relied on this one. I tend to train at the same time every single day, and I know that's always not always possible in teaching. I completely appreciate that because a safeguarding issue comes up, something comes up after work, you end up staying late. I get it. But really trying to give yourself a time that you train on training days that is the same, it helps so much, I promise you. Like, there's something about it, like your body just expects to go. And I think like you just take the thought process out of it a little bit. Like, what your hunger cues will be like at that time, what your energy levels will be like at that time. It just feels easier going at a same or similar time every single day. So you could have a think to yourself, like, what are the times in the week? And maybe do a bit of reflection next week as well. What are the times during the week where you can actually be like, well, no, this is going to be my evening where I go to the gym at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. That's booked out, scheduled out, and you kind of like show up for yourself in that moment as well and really try and stick to it at that time. I think there is a lot to be said for having those sort of time intervals and really trying to keep to them. Yeah, that's a really good one. Keeping keeping your gym wear out. It helps massively, definitely. If you guys have any tips as we're going through, please feel free to put them in the chat 'cause it's really nice to hear from you all as well. But yeah, that's one I've really resonated with recently is that time training. And it threw me when I mixed it up this week and I got myself all like, I was like, what am I doing? And it just throws you. So I think trying to stick to things in a way, as much we're like creatures of habits, aren't we? I think we're like the kids at the end of the day. Like, we love to have routine, we love to have things set in stone, and the kids get a bit agitated when things move. I think we're a little bit like that. So trying to keep things as consistent as possible makes it easier. So now we're on to the T. This is track and tweak. So this is something that you can't really preempt or plan in half term next week, but it's something you can do as you're going through the half term. So this is where I want you to really think about tracking and making sure that you're monitoring what's going on, but also making those changes as you go through. So tracking your workouts, tracking your progress as you go through, monitoring what's going on, and making sure that you're tracking not just the changes sort of in your body, I guess, or the changes in your weight. It's thinking about little things like, what are the changes in your strength that you've had? What are the changes in, I don't know if you're running, like how has your running improved? What are your changes in your energy levels? And it's all of these things, because what I find a lot of the time is that with ladies, they will come in, and because they are trying strength training for the first time, excuse me, they might feel a little bit, their muscles start to develop a little bit, and weight loss can be a little bit slower. So it's not just focusing on the number on the scales, but it's looking at those changes in progress photos. Like I said, how your form's progressing in the gym, how you're getting stronger when you're doing those workouts as well. It's not all about the numbers of the scales. It's really tracking everything and looking at the positives in all of those different areas, because you need to commit to yourself that you're not just doing it this for 6 weeks. You're putting this in place for a long period of time so you can build it into as a lifestyle. Next part of this is tweaking. So what worked, what felt hard? You can reflect on this as little and as often as you like, but I think weekly is a really good way to get into it. On a Sunday night, just sitting down, having a think, what went really well this week? What are the things that might need changing? What are the things that we need to swap around to make sure that we're not going to quit? What does next week look like? Do I need to make any changes for next week because maybe I've got X, Y, and Z going on, or it's so and so's birthday, or I've got this going on after work. And it's just about really setting yourself up to success. I think the key is making sure that each week is manageable enough. It feels like you can tick it off because if it's too hard, teaching is already hard enough. We know it's going to be quite unmanageable and it's going to be really difficult to stick to it as well. So just really trying to plan that in and prep that in as well is a really good way to go forward with it. Making those tweaks as you go through, making those changes as you go through. Next one is the H, which is habit before intensity. This kind of links to everything else that we've said, but I think this is very much about showing up. And the worst thing you can do is go in with a plan, going from 0 to 100. I've seen it time and time again where people go in and they're like, right, I really want to lose weight. And they will start something off and they'll put themselves on a ridiculously low amount of calories and they'll start training 6 times a week, 5 times a week, and they will start by, I don't know, going on a walk, every single evening as well. And you can do it for 1 week max, and then you fall off track, maybe 2 weeks, and you end up going back to 0 again and seeing no results, and you put the weight back on. And I think that's a really important point. It's to go with this mindset of having that you want to be consistent with these habits. What are the habits I can do week in, week out? Showing up for 10 weeks, training 3 times a week for 10 weeks is so much better than training 6 times for 2 weeks and then not being able to do it ever again. Make sure it's consistent, make sure it's something you can fit in. I would not recommend to any teacher to have a workout after work every single day or in the morning every single day. I don't think it's manageable with energy levels. I think by the time you get to Wednesday or Thursday, you're absolutely zonked in teaching. I know the feeling. You'll crawl into that staff meeting by Wednesday night, whenever your staff meeting is. I would never recommend to any teacher joining the program to train every single day. I think 3 or 4 times a week is a really good amount to start with. I think it's an amazing point to go with. I mean, I myself personally only train 4 times a week in the gym. You don't need to be doing tons and tons of exercise to see the results. It's about the quality of what you're doing and making sure you can stick to it. So what are the things you can build in above the intensity? I feel like intensity can come on those weeks where, do you know when you have those weeks, which doesn't happen often, but they just feel a little bit easier in teaching, and don't plan for it. I think sometimes if the week's just feeling a bit nicer, you might be like, actually, I'm going to go to the gym for an extra session this week. And then it feels amazing because you've done something more rather than not reaching what you wanted to reach or not getting to where you wanted to go. I'm just going to have a little look in the chat because there's a couple of things here. Yeah, Meg says she lays her clothes out the night before, so reduces decision fatigue. Yeah, but completely get that. Do you know another one with decision fatigue is your dinner and meals? Oh my goodness. Do you know the amount of times someone's asked me what I want for dinner and I just can't think about it because I've made too many decisions that day? Like having a plan and just knowing what you want that night and prepping for it, it just makes it so much easier. It's hard to forget about the scales, old Slim and World member. So hearing about the scales are not always necessary. Yeah, I think that's so important. Honestly, I think if we could do life without worrying about the scales and what weight we were, then it just makes things so much easier. Photos, and there's so many ladies that I've worked with, their changes in their photos have been absolutely incredible, and the scales may have only moved like 3 or 4 kg, and it just shows you that body composition changes everything. It's not all about that number. So, now back to it, last 2. So overload gradually. So this is where I want you to start thinking about actually how you're going to make that progress. And it's often something that's skipped. It's not just about showing up, ticking that workout off. It's not just about showing up and thinking that, right, it's done now, it's ticked off, I can rest for the rest of the week. You actually have to make sure that those workouts count. They are quality. You want to make sure that you're improving. You need to see and go in with the mindset of every single time you're showing up to do that workout, you're going to make it that little bit harder for yourself. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it's little things like one small change each week. So can you add 1 more rep in or 2 more reps into that? Can you go 1 kg heavier, 2 kg heavier with whatever you're doing? Tracking everything that you're doing. I know there's so many guys inside the program are getting really, really good at that. They're improving, they're showing me what they're increasing progressing each week, but making sure that you're showing up with intention to your training. This is definitely something at the beginning of my fitness journey that I didn't understand. And I was just showing up to get the workout done, but actually going and really thinking about what you're doing, putting your all into those exercises. And you will find that within 40 minutes, you can have such an amazing workout because you've gone with intention and intensity. That's what you need to be doing, is making sure that you're focusing on slow improvements over time. Um, Little things outside the gym, an extra 5 minutes walking, extra 5 minutes on the treadmill just to get your steps in, swapping one snack a day for an apple, something a little bit healthier, one less pudding a week. It's small changes that feel a bit more sustainable rather than being like, right, getting started. I'm going to not eat any chocolate, any sweet, any sugar. I'm not going to snack after dinner ever. I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. It's just the opposite to everything that I've said there. You need to building in things that feel consistent and are manageable that you can stick to over time. And then the final one is deload, don't quit. So I think this is a really important one. There will be a week in the half term where you will get poorly, or maybe it's parents' evening week, or maybe you've got a school trip. There will be a week in every half term, I can guarantee, where because this happens to all of the girls that I work with, and the weeks happen at different points, and it's sometimes unpredictable, where you need to take a pause for a week. And I think it's really important to remember that recovery is helping you work towards those goals. And in the moment, it feels so frustrating because you're wanting to do these things, but something's stopping you. But you need to remember that this recovery is so necessary for your body, it's so necessary for your progress. And actually, give it 2 or 3 weeks, you will bounce back feeling absolutely incredible from where you were at. I was just talking to one of the ladies inside the program earlier today. She sent me a voice note, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying, it's Stacey, and she was saying that she was poorly not long back, and she's just got back into swing of things. And she was just saying to me on the voice note, like, just getting back to it, she feels 10 times better. And in the moment, she struggled because it's hard when you do feel poorly, when you don't feel very well, and when you've got a million one things going on at work, you feel guilty for not doing these things. But those weeks are essential because it really allows you to touch base. And what I think a really good way of viewing it is in our fitness journey, we having a deload week is amazing for progress. It can really allow your muscles to recover, things like that. So why don't we just build those deload weeks into the weeks in teaching where it feels chaotic and absolutely wild? On the weeks where you've got parents' evening, on the weeks where you've got residentials, when you've got school trips, when you've got assessment week, whatever that looks like, when you're not feeling very well, listen to your body, listen to your routine, and build those deload weeks in a little bit more intentionally. So, where if you do go to the gym, show up. Don't put as much effort in that week because you're allowing your body to recover. Maybe you miss off a workout or two that week instead of getting all of them in. And it's just about remembering that these weeks are so important because they're not going to stop you from making progress. Yes, maybe that week you don't see a drop on the scales or you don't see much of a change, but in the long run, those weeks are so important so that you can continue and you don't fatigue and you don't sort of completely fall off track. Anyway, that is the method in total. So we've got minimum standards, environment design, track and tweak, habits before intensity, overload gradually, and deload, don't quit. I hope that was helpful, guys, and I hope that was something for you to go away with and, have a little bit of a structure. I have recorded this, so I will send it into the group after this if you do want to watch it back, sorry, and maybe you want to write down some ideas over half term when you've got a bit of time to think about it. I know at the minute you're probably crawling to the finish line and absolutely exhausted. So just a bit of a reminder. I might even throw this in next week as a bit of a reminder when you are off so that you want to have a look at it. You can plan for your week ahead. So a couple of things with how you can go forward from here is obviously you can do nothing, which is a little bit rubbish, but so I wouldn't recommend that at all. You can trial these methods on your own over the next half term. That's absolutely something you can do. You can sit, watch this back, go away with a plan. But I am introducing another challenge in spring too, which is going to be another 6-week challenge made for teachers, which really builds in these methods, builds in the SIX method, builds in all of these habits to see those long-term and sustainable results. Anyone on this call today, I'm offering a special 20% off. Even if you are in my coaching already and you want to hear a little bit more around the offer and how it could work for you, we can have that conversation privately in terms of what that would look like with whatever plan you're on. But even if you're new to me and this is something that you do want to learn a little bit more around, then just DM me the word after this SIX challenge so I know that you want to hear a little bit more and I can explain exactly what that offer would look like. It's only for people who are on this call who have watched it back. Like I said, it's open for ladies inside the program or outside the program. So yeah, after this, if you are interested, no pressure at all, just drop me the word SIX challenge. But I'm just grateful for you all for coming. If you are new here, really appreciate you coming tonight and spending your time here. I hope you enjoyed the content on Instagram. In the meantime, if you're inside of the academy, it was lovely to see you here and thank you for your support as always. And yeah, I will catch you guys all on the next one. Thank you so much.